Hi, welcome. I'm Jonathan, and this is a level 2 Bowspring practice that will be inspired by one of my favorite quotes from the Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 2, line 40, it states that on this path, effort never goes to waste and there is no failure. Even a little effort towards spiritual awareness will protect you from the greatest fear. So although this practice is level 2, there will be a requirement for a significant amount of effort. And not everyone will be able to keep up or maintain the practice. So at any point, just pause, sit out, take a break, but just the smallest amount of effort will start to lead to something. And when it leads to something, it becomes transformational and bigger than yourself. So please take a tall seat in hero's position and place your fingertips in dome hands at the end of your thighs. Curl the fingers so your fingernails are touching near your knees, and straighten your arms, push down with your hands, and lift your armpits up. Allow your rib cage to lift. Lift up through the crown of your head, but at the same time, sink down through your hips. Make your belly long and strong, and close your eyes. On an inhale, float your arms forward in front of you, bend your elbows out to the sides, and touch your fingertips together for globe hands position. In globe hands, bend your elbows out to the side and lift your outer elbows up to find a broadening through your upper back. At the same time, imagine your hands were on a ledge, so you could pull down with your hands and lift the front of your chest up. And take a moment to think about something that was effortful for you today or yesterday, something that required attention that you thought might have been a waste of time or not important. Every interaction, every decision, every thought, every conversation has meaning, has purpose, and has impact. And commit in these next 30, 40, 50 minutes of practice that you'll put your fullest effort, which isn't necessarily that you give all that you have physically, but all that you have mentally, to pay attention, to learn, to gain insight into yourself. Because really, each one of us, the most interesting thing we can ever learn and discover is our own self. On your next inhale, open your eyes, look forward, reach your arms forward, push your arms straight, then lift your hips up and touch your fingers down, dome to bright, and move any prop block off to the side. I often use a block in class just because it makes it a little bit more accessible, certain variations of postures, and by no means is it level 2 to graduate from the block. Here in all fours, push your arms straight with your hands as wide as your mat, and move your knees back just a little bit. With the knees back, push your knees out to the side, lift your glutes up, then tuck your toes under and lift up, crouching cat position. In crouching cat position, keep the lift through the sit bones. With your gaze between your hands, push your arms straight. And then stay here, or bend and extend your legs, so create a little bit of a pulse. You're always welcome to practice near a wall, to have a wall as backboard. Option to hop a few times in the air for handstand, or even hold. So hopping up, coming back down, and maybe getting to a place where you can start to hold. Keep your arms straight, push down with your hands. And after you've finished hopping, or just pulsing your legs, come back to all fours position, hands and knees. Push the arms straight, make your ribcage light, drop the belly lower, pull your hands to your knees, lift forward through the top of your head. On your next inhale, lift your left leg back behind you, square leg position, and then lift your right hand in front of you, hand mirror. Bend your elbow down, turn your palm in front of your face, push the left knee down, Imagine holding onto a cable in front of you with your right hand and pull your rib cage forward. Then lower your hand, lower your knee, switch sides. Lift your right leg back behind you. Lift your left hand hand mirror. Also, if you have your phone, you could always take a selfie of yourself in the posture, post it on Instagram, hashtag Bowspring. Push your knees forward, sit your hips back. Then lower your hand, lower your knee, tuck your toes under again and lift back up to crouching cat position. Same thing as you did in all fours. Lift your left leg back behind you. Then dome your right hand. Keep your right knee slightly bent. Sit bones lifting up. Chin in line with your wrists. Lift your right hand, hand mirror position. Selfie position. Staying steady. Embracing the unsteadiness as a test. Your greatest fear will always push you over. Hold strong. Then lower your right hand, lower your left foot, and switch sides. Right leg back behind you, square leg position, knee points down, weight your right hand, dome your left hand, push your arms straight, make yourself lighter, then lift your left hand, hand mirror position, embrace the waver, embrace the unsteadiness, hold for 3, 2, 1, hand down, foot down. Cat burglar hops 5 times. Hop forward and back, landing as light as possible. Once you've done 5, feet hip width distance apart, and rise up to recovery position. With your hands to your knees, push your knees forward into your hands. Resist the knees going forward by pressing back with the hands, and use that to move your hips further back. Lift your glutes up. Then on an inhale, reach your arms straight forward in front of you. Turn your palms to face each other. Join your hands together. Bend your elbows, keep your elbows pointing forward, and rest the outside of your thumbs on the crown of your head for crown arms. Lift up through the top of your head, sink your hips down and back, then arc over to the right. As you arc to the right, push your knees forward and move your groins down and back. Push your knees out to the sides, lift your glutes up, drop your right ear to your right shoulder, and lift the left side rib cage up. Allow yourself to pulse a little bit in and out of the pose, maybe even linking it with the breath. So the inhale will be a lift up of your rib cage, and the exhale will be a sitting down and back. On your next inhale, come back up and go over to the other side. Crescent to the left, arms and crown. Push up through the top of your head. So it's not just a lift of your chin up, but it's a lengthening, making more space, keeping the throat open, but also not just jamming the back of the neck. Tilt all the way over, lift up through the right side ribs. Come all the way back up. This time, cup the back of your head, ecstasy arms position. Point your elbows forward, go over to the right again. This time, as transition, take your right hand low, hold the outside of your left knee. Push your knee out to the side, use that to move your groins back, then lift your left foot away from the floor. As you arc to the right with your left hand in ecstasy, holding a lifted left leg with your right hand, pause, embrace the challenge, embrace the uniqueness of the pose, then slowly start to take your foot back behind you into a variation of side coil position. Bending deep into your knees, rest your shoulder to the inside of your knee, push your head back into your hand. As you pull with your right hand, push back out with your left knee, and then tilt your ear to your shoulder, lift the side ribs up. Then release the knee, take your hand to seed position, Other hand to seed position. Push both hands together, the two seeds, and inhale, rise up. Turn your right foot in. Bend your knees, then cup the back of your head, both hands. Wide-legged, standing position. Lift the elbows and the wrists higher up away from the floor. Move your sit bones back. Lift your glutes up by pushing your knees out. Then start to lean back, curl in towards a back bend. Instead of thinking of just dropping back, lift the rib cage up away from the hips. Then keep your knees bent, your hips moving back. Slowly hinge forward to a halfway lift position. Then one by one, touch your fingertips to the floor. Standing wide-legged forward fold position. You're welcome to stay here and just bob the legs up and down. Or if you'd like to place your hands flat and do a few frog hops for a handstand, you're welcome to. Also, if you have a wall, you could just walk your feet up a wall. So playing around. Those feeling pretty comfortable, could even start to add a little bit of a twist to your body as you hold handstand. It might be that you just hop a few times on the spot, and it may be that you keep your feet down the whole time. Okay, eventually making your feet come back down to the floor. To rise up, place one hand to your knee, then other hand to your knee. Slowly come up. Turn your left foot out. Turn your right foot in. Then bend deep into your knees. Place your left forearm to your thigh. Curl your hands into seed hand position. Then cup the back of your head, right hand. So more of a step back position of side coil than what we did on that first side. Sit back with your hips towards the right heel. Have the heel just barely hovering. Turn the knee in to broaden and widen your sit bone, and then extend and reach the elbow towards the back edge of your mat this time. To emphasize a broadening through your upper back, it's useful to have your elbow in the forward plane. So another position with that is just reaching your arms straight in front of the center of your chest. Place your left hand to the outside of your shin for bow triangle. Keep your back knee bent and your low back moving in and up, and start to work your left leg a little bit straighter. And it may not go all the way to straight. Embrace that, that's part of the challenge, especially the challenge of staying strong, even in the flexibility. Take one last deep breath in, and on a deep breath out, bow forward, take a pause. Keep the sit bones lifted and pulse your legs forward and back a little bit. And then option now to go into a bound side coil. Take your left arm underneath you, right hand behind you, interlace your fingers. Bend your back knee to sink lower into the front leg, and then pulse a little bit forward and back as you twist to the right. No need to look up, just look in the same direction as your heart. Follow your heart as opposed to what's going on up in the ceiling. Sometimes there's some interesting stuff, but I think it's better to just follow your feelings and your emotions. Now, option to keep the bind, lean into your left foot, lift your right leg up into the air, bound half moon pose. Not an easy position. Hold steady. Find a fixed point on the floor, gaze to it. Option to bring the right knee a little bit closer as you sit your hips back. Then slowly step your right foot to meet your left foot. Instead of rising up into bird of paradise, just slowly rise up, balance on your right foot. And as you balance on your right foot, lift your left foot into bonsai. Bonsai is just tree position in bowspring, where the standing leg is bent. And hold opposite elbows, genie arms. Push your elbows out to the sides, broaden through your rib cage, laterally, through the back, and through the front. lift up through the crown of your head as you sink your hips down and back. Then slowly slide your left leg over your right leg. Make a kickstand position with your foot slightly forward of your right foot. Stay in genie, or now cup the back of your head, both hands. Lift your wrists, lift your elbows, lift your rib cage, sit your hips down and back. Embrace a little bit of a pulse as you sit down and lift up. Sit down and lift up. Then keep your hands in ecstasy. Uncross the left leg, feet hip width distance apart. Arc over towards the left. As you arc to the left, lift the right side rib cage. Bend your knees forward, move your groins down and back, and then hold the outside of your right knee with your left hand. Tilting to the left, weight your left foot, lift your right heel, lift your right leg out to the side. Embrace the challenge. Push your knee into your hand to move your hips back. Push your head back into your other hand to feel a toning and engagement in your belly. Then start to turn to the right as you step your right foot further back. Side coil position, holding the back knee, taking the left shoulder to the inside of the knee. Dropping ear to shoulder, reaching your elbow towards what is considered more the back of your mat. Then bring your left arm back to more of a classical position. Right hand to seat as well, 2 seeds. Rise as you back up. Turn your left foot in slightly, right foot out a little bit. Come into horse stance. Both hands to your knees, arms straight, sit down low. And then drop your right shoulder forward. Take a little twist to the left. Then do the opposite. Drop your left shoulder forward. Take a little twist to the right. Then back to center. Lift your heels to hover just a little bit. Sit your hips low and bring your hands to chin-up bar position. Imagine actually holding on to a chin-up bar, and you can pull your rib cage up as you sit your hips down and back. Then turn the left foot in, turn your right foot out, bend your elbow, place your forearm to your thigh, manually lift your left butt up, have your low back move in and up, then cup the back of your head with your left hand. Sit back, bend your knees, tilt ear to shoulder, and then embrace a little bit of a pulse forward and back. With the elbow in the forward plane, broaden through the upper back as you move the low back in and up. Hold now the outside of your right shin. Reach the left arm straight in front of your chest, and then start to work your right leg straighter, keeping the back heel just hovering with the knee bent. It's as much of a balancing position as it is one where you get a solid stretch. On your next exhale, bow forward, touch the floor, pause, just shake a little bit forward and back. Then bind right arm underneath, left arm behind you, and twist to the left. Lean into the support of your right leg. Keep your back knee bent to sit low into the front leg, and find a little pulse of weight forward and back. Then push off your back leg and lift up into bound half moon pose. This is not an easy position. It's hard to talk in this pose. Option to bring your left knee forward, sit your hips a little bit further back, Hold steady. The good news is we switch legs. Oh, thank goodness. Lower your left foot down. Weight your left foot. Release your hands. Slowly lift your right foot up as well. And place your foot to your inner thigh. Knee slightly forward. Bonsai. Arms in genie position. With your arms in genie position, push your elbows out to the side, broaden and widen through your rib cage, lift through the crown of your head, then slide your foot over your knee, wrap the leg all the way around, right foot in front of your left foot, sit down deep, push your outer knees into each other, hold the sides of your head, and then lift up. Even an option here, as you push your right foot forward and move your hips back, lift your rib cage up and close your eyes. Test your balance. And you know you're testing yourself when you get to a point where you actually fall out of the pose. That's the moment that you learn something, when the body gains greater insight. Come all the way back up. Earth position. Knees slightly bent, arms straight, a little bit into the forward plane. Curl your fingers into a soft seed hand position and push your knuckles downward. Push your forearms out to the side. Broaden through your rib cage. Then weight your right foot, dig drag your left, and take a little step back to a lunge position. 3 times pulse. Inhale, pull down with your hands, lift your ribs up, and exhale, sit down and back. 2 more like that, up, and then down. Again, inhale, and exhale. Stay as you are, hips back, glutes on the rise. Bring your 2 hands together, push your hands into each other, and twist over to the right. I just had a student of mine who's a letter carrier, and she sent a picture of herself on a street called The Rise, and she said her glutes were on the rise yesterday. I thought that was pretty funny. Push your hands into each other, sit your hips back, lift your glutes so the glutes are on the rise, and twist over to the right, keeping your arms engaged. Now turn back to center, push off your back foot, lift your foot into propeller pose. Pulse your right leg 3 times, up and down. And then point your foot, bring the top of your foot to the floor, bring your knee down, reach your arms in front of you, pull down with your hands, lift your ribs up, exhale, sit down and back. Again. Keeping the arms in front of you, sitting back, swing your arms over to the right. See if you can reach back and touch your right heel with your left heel with your right hand, and cup the back of your head left for ecstasy left. Push the toes down on your left foot to lift the front of your ankle up, back to the future pose. Keep your hips back. Think of a side bend position, just as much of a back bend here. Then push off your back arm, reach both arms in front of you, sit your hips back and go the other way, going over for little mantis. Left hand down, right hand cups the back of your head, drop ear to shoulder, lift the right side rib cage higher up into the air, right heel lifts, push your foot forward to sit your hips back, and then wide sweeping arc to the side, lift your chin. Couple of challenging positions next, balancing only on a shin. Reach both arms in front of you, just classic 1 shin balance. Sit your hips back to the left heel, and then lift your right foot up away from the floor, using swaying arms to help create a counterbalance. So difficult and challenging. Then bring your knee and foot in line with each other, but keep your leg hovering. Cup the back of your head, both hands, and then open your right leg out to the side as you find an arc over to the left. You could do a modified mantis if you're going to fall. Just bring your left hand down and push your way back up. Refine the balance. Ooh, and then both knees down, kneeling position. Effort is never wasted. And sometimes it's nice to find a posture that you struggle with, that you're challenged. It's a reminder of what it was like to be a beginner again. Sit your hips back. Place your hands in crown hands position. Lift up through the top of your head and broaden through your upper back. Just make yourself as tall as possible as you sit your hips down and back. Pulsing. And then reaching your arms forward in front of you. Place your hands down, all fours position. In all fours, push the ribs up, sink your belly down, push your knees out, lift your glutes up. Inhale, lift your left leg back behind you. This time, instead of just going hand mirror with the right hand, reach back, grab hold of the big toe side of your foot. Kick your foot back into your hand as you twist towards the right side. As you twist to the right, push the crown of your head forward. Then release your foot, knee down, hand down, and switch sides. Lift your right leg back behind you. Left hand reaches back. Grab hold of the big toe side of your foot. Kick your foot into your hand. Push the right arm straight. Make your rib cage lift as you kick back. And then release your foot. Now, crouching cat position. Same thing. Lift your left leg back behind you, knee bent. Dome your right hand, or lift your right hand, reach back, grab hold of the big toe side of your foot. Find a slight twist towards the right, just a little bit, as you cook your foot back. I meant to say kick, but I think I said cook. At no point should you cook and eat your own foot, no matter how smelly or tasty it seems. Release your foot, hand down, foot down, and switch sides. Lift your right leg back behind you. Dome your left hand, or lift the left hand. Reach back. Might take a little bit of discovery, probing to find the foot, and then kick your foot back into your hand like a tail of a scorpion. Push your right arm straight. And then lower your hand, lower your foot. Lift your left foot in front of you, cross your ankle over your knee. Then gently place your shin down for falcon pose. Point your right toes back behind you and come down onto your elbows. Coming onto the elbows, keep the legs active by pushing your knees forward to move your hips back, and push your knees out to the sides to make your glutes lift. Pull your elbows to your knees, push the top of your head and your ribs forward, but also keep the ribs lifted and light. Then adding a little bit of a twist, come back up onto your hands, walk the hands over to the left, and bring your right elbow near the left edge of your mat with your hand in seed hand position. Then lift your left hand and wrap your hand around the seed. Maybe you could consider it the late parts of winter, planting a tulip bulb into the earth and then covering it up to eventually flower outward, which is where we'll go into a back bend soon. To come out of the pose, there's two options. One is just drop. The other is gently place your left hand down, push, come up onto your right hand, Walk the hands back, dome both hands, keep your hips back, rise up. Hands in globe in front of you, or ecstasy arms position. Start to lean back. Go further if you want. Further could be lifting your back foot. There's some who are capable of holding their back foot in this pose. I thought I was close, and then I filmed myself and I realized I'm not. I'm happy here, accepting where I am. Sometimes no matter how much your effort is on the path, you may actually not progress further physically, but more intellectually. Place your hands down, push back, crouching cat position. In crouching cat position, option to hop a few times on the spot with a chance to go to handstand. Sometimes I play with a slight bend in the elbows to help get the hips a bit further back in position. Eventually coming down into recovery. If you're holding handstand, try to bring the knees into the chest. Slow, arms straight to come down as slow as possible. Recovery position. Deep breath in and deep breath out. 2 more like that. Cleansing breath all the way in and all the way out. Last one. And turn your feet out to the sides. Bend your knees deep. Come down into a low squat position. Hold your knees from the underside and pull up with straight arms until your groins move down and back and you create a little arch in your low back. Then from here, cup the back of your head with both hands like you have rocket boosters in your glutes. Elevator ride up and then elevator ride down. Back up and back down. And 2 more times, down and up. And then earth position. Weight your left foot and then lift your right leg back behind you. Dancer's position. And in this one, I'm even going to move my block towards the front of the mat. Preparing just for a little bit more. So going from dancers to a bit of a rebound to then half moon with the thigh stretch, sugarcane, and then switching to reverse it. So starting with the rebound first, bow forward, tap the block or floor, 3 times up and down, and on the 4th one, stay down. Hold the block, keep your foot at the height of your hip, twist towards the right. What's nice about the block is it just brings the floor to you. It allows you to not necessarily hinge so much in the left hip crease. Keep the side of the body long as you kick your foot back. And then from this position, rebound your way up. Hold on to the foot with your left hand. Reach your right arm straight forward in front of you. Pull the hand down energetically. Lift the rib cage up. And level 2, you're meant to be challenged. 3 times up and down. 1, 2, 3. And on the 4th one, bow down, hand to floor or block. Find a twist towards the left. As you twist to the left, kick your foot back. Pull your rib cage forward. Move forward through the top of your head. Test your balance on your way up. Can you pause and even cup the back of your head right hand and slowly rise up. Lower your right foot down, arms in front of you, earth position. Just sway a little from side to side. Weight your right foot. Lift your left leg behind you and hold over top your toes. Bend your knee and then rebound 3 times. Down and up. Use the kick back of your left foot to rise back up. And then 4th time, hand down, floor block, take a twist to the left. The foot can stay right behind the glute. Kick your foot back, keep your right knee bent, and turn your right foot outwards from the big toe side to the little toe side of your foot. Moving your outer thigh back, push your right arm straighter. And then slow and steady, rise back up. No rest. Hold your foot with your right hand, left arm straight forward in front of you. Reverse dancer position, staying steady, embracing the shake. Shaking's weakness escaping the body. And then bow forward, make a tap, come back up. 2 more on the tap side. And then last time, bow forward, hand down, twist to the right, kick your foot back into your hand, move your right shoulder back, reach out through the top of your head. Then as you slowly rise back up, option to cup the back of your head left, make your way up tall, arms in front of you, earth position, weight your left foot, dig drag your right, and take a little step back right foot. High lunge position, pulse your arms, inhale, pull the rib cage up, sit your hips down and back. Again, up, and then down and back, up, down and back, keeping your hips back, glutes on the rise, twist over to the left, push the arms into each other, recruit your arms, tone them strong, your forearms, your biceps, your triceps, lift up through the crown of your head as you sit your hips down and back. Then turn back to center, push off your back foot, propeller position, pulse on your left leg up and down. Feel your glutes, feel the power in the left glute, especially if you've been practicing Bowspring for a while. It's like, what the heck is going on back there? I never knew I had that. Both arms in front of you, point your right toes, top of your foot down, knee down, sit your hips back, go into crown hands to lift up through the top of your head as you sit your hips down and back. And then both arms in front of you, wide sweeping arc to the left, lift the front of your right ankle up, touch your heel with your left hand, cup the back of your head, right, drop your left ear to your shoulder, lift your chin out of your chest, lift the right side rib cage higher up away from the floor. Back to the future, the second time we've done it. That's when Marty actually goes to the future. And then arms in front of you, come all the way back up. Then arc all the way over to the right. Mantis position. Push your left foot forward to sit your hips back. Drop the top of your head closer towards the floor. As you push your right arm straight, lift your chin out of your chest. Full length to your side body. Reach and extend. And then come all the way back up. Most challenging positions, one shin balance. Sit back to the right heel. Lift your left foot in front of you. I'm near a wall. You could always just hold on to a wall or try to go supportless near a lambaya in Sanskrit. Embrace the wave, or woo, 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 and then bring knee and foot in line with each other, but keep them lifted. Both hands ecstasy. Lean over towards the right as you push the left knee forward, sit your hips back, open your left leg out to the side. Oh, if you're falling, go into a mantis variation. Come back up. And both hands down in front of you. All fours position. In all fours position, tuck your toes under. Lift your knees. Crouching cat. One last time, option to hop in handstand. This time go feet together with your knees bent, and then see if you can pike it up. Again, it's always better to hop less the first couple and then get to a point where you can hold, so you're not just flinging your body all the way up into the pose. You're gonna come down slow, knees into chest, and then step it back, crouching cat. Go right ankle in front of left knee. Slowly lower your shin down, point your toes, and bring your elbows down. Of course, it's a video. You can always pause it if you need to do handstand a little bit more. Go to the wall, have a little bit of fun. Also, you can mute me at any point if I'm becoming too annoying, which I'm told quite often. Pull your rib cage forward. Push your knees out, lift your glutes up. And for those who might be tighter in their hips, this can be a hip stretch, but those of you who are open in your hips, this is a great chance to get stronger in the muscles around your hips and also lengthen your spine, grow taller. And then come back up onto your hands. Take your left elbow to the right edge of your mat, hand in seed position. Wrap your right hand around your left as you twist to the right. Keep your knees pushing forward and out to the sides. Hug your left heel towards the midline. Push the toes down to lift the front of your left ankle up away from the floor. Then lower your right hand first. Push down. Lift away from your left elbow. Walk your hands back. Globe hands position. Elbows forward. Find a lightness, a floating, or cup the back of your head, elbows forward, lift up, lean back, keep your hips back, start to go into the unknown. Then turn to the floor, hands down, tuck your back toes, and push back, crouching cat. From crouching cat, lift one hand into seed, place it down, then the elbow, and then go other hand as well. Crouching sphinx position, with your knees bent, lift your rib cage higher up away from the floor. Try not to bend the knees too much. If the knees bend too much, it's actually hard to get the arch in the low back. Then move your right foot a little bit more to the midline. Open your left leg out to the side. Weight your right forearm. Lift your left elbow and make an outrigger with your left hand. Pull your knee forward, sit your hips back. Then lower left forearm, replace left foot down, open right leg out, pull your knee forward, hips back, and then outrigger with your right hand. Big test here. With both hands down, fill into your upper back, so that you could then just lift up. Place your hands back into crouching cat position. Keep the rib cage lifted, but lower your knees to the floor. Lift your feet. Open your hands wider than your mat. 5 push-ups. Bend your elbows. Lower down to the height of your elbows. Push your knees down and come back up. 4 more. And the last 2. Bring your hands back to your mat. Lower your feet, turn your knees to the left. Right arm long overhead. Swing both arms in front of you, then up into the air to lie onto your back. Lying onto your back, crisscross your arms, lean to the left and push your right arm straight. And then lean to the right and reach your left arm out. Widen your upper back, open the hands as wide as your shoulders, then lift your feet to the height of your knees. Open the legs halfway to the right, arms halfway to the left, push your arms straight. And then come back, go over to the other side. Legs to left, arms to right. Then back to center. Place your fingers to the front of your thighs, freedom abs. Gently push your knees into your hands and resist by pushing your hands back into your knees till you feel a tone through the front of your waist, the side of your waist, and the back of your waist as well. Then lower your feet down, reach the arms vertical, turn your palms forward, touch your hands down, maybe slide your fingers under the front edge of your mat, and lift up bridge pose. Lift the hips high to begin with, then drop the hips down low. And move the block away, but this is where the block can be useful, where you just rest the back of your pelvis on the block, lift the belly up. Option here to take one leg up into the air while keeping the pelvis heavy. Embrace the shake. Then lower your right foot and switch sides. Take the other leg up. Make the back of your pelvis heavier. Make that the priority as opposed to the leg getting straight. Sometimes we focus on the periphery more than the core of the body, the hips, the shoulders, the torso, as opposed to what's going on in the visuals and the leg being straight. And then foot down. You're using the block, place it to the side. Use it again if you'd like to go up to bridge pose. Or one last time going up into more of a classical yoga position, wheel, or in Bowspring, wave, where you drop your hips lower down. I attempt wave, but it's like at a sports arena when the wave is going around and around, and I'm always like 20 seconds behind everyone, and I just go up by myself, and it doesn't necessarily work as well for me as it will for some of you. So hands beside your ears. Lift on up. In classical wheel, lifting the heels, looking between your hands. And then wave is starting to drop the hips down, lower, but keep the belly lifted. I don't have a lot of mobility there, but it's a challenge. That is a full belly stretch. Stretch. That's what happens to my voice. And then tuck your chin in, lower all the way down. If you're comfortable up there, you want to go one leg at a time, you're welcome to do that. You could put heel on knee into a position called infinity if you're doing that in wave. Take your hands back to chin-up bar position to begin with. Move your hips to the left, drop your knees to the right. Just a gentle twist as we finish up. Keep your left hand as it is, elbow pointing up, even hugging in towards the midline. Right hand to the outside of your knee. Let the legs fall all the way over. Allow your left shoulder to lift, but keep the elbow in as opposed to cactus blade. And then focus on just pushing the back of the left ribs towards the floor. On an inhale, come back up, right hand chin-up bar, leg or hips to the right, legs to the left. And again, option to hold the outside of the right knee, left hand. Let the knee come all the way down. Broaden through your upper back. Twist from left to right. And then come back up. Classic freedom position. Cup your kneecaps. Straighten your arms until your knees are right over your hips. And then push a bit more with the right knee. Broaden the right side shoulder blade. And then push a bit more with the left. Broaden the left side. Make your ribs heavy. Make your head heavy. And the back of your pelvis heavy. Then let the feet and knees open out to the side. Pushing your knees into your hands. Opening the legs out. And coming back up. Holding behind the thighs. Working your legs a little bit straighter, in my case, maybe all the way to straight for some of you. Then rebend your knees. Slide your right leg. Slide your left leg. Extend your arms vertical. Lean to the left. Reach your right arm to the left. Lean to the right. Reach your left arm to the right. And then finish in a bear hug position. Wrap your arms around your shoulders. Soften every muscle. Slow down your breath.